You're watching the Sporting Time Show with host Doug Thompson. Sponsored by Jewelry Barn and Pawn Shop.
Good evening and welcome to the Sporting Time Show. I'm Doug Thompson. We have a great show this evening. We have a brand new coach, we have a retired coach, and we have one of the oldest, youngest 4th Region baseball coaches who is going to join me now, Wes Sanford, the head coach of the Warren East Raiders. Coach, welcome to the show.
Appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
Oldest, youngest, you think between you, Jason Jaggers, and Coach Sam Royce, that's about 150 years worth of coaching experience.
Well, Jagger still looks like he's 20, so I don't know.
Both of you guys.
I don't know about him. Man.
It was funny. You're already hedging how many years you've been coaching, because at Media Day I asked you, and I think you said 13, but you actually have been the head coach for 16 seasons at Warren East. You started in 2006 as the head coach. Before that, though, you were assistant coach, still going to WKU. What is it about baseball that you love so much, or coaching?
Well, I'm a terrible quitter, I guess is what it is. Now, I really do like being with my kids. I enjoy, they keep me young. I'm getting older. I know I'm getting older, but they keep me young at heart. I really enjoy trying to help kids get to where they want to be. So if that's, playing college baseball, then let's really try to get that. And if they just want to go to college and they want to have a great high school experience, we still want to give them that. And obviously we still want to win. We want the memories of winning, the bonds that we create, practice time, the off-season stuff that we're able to do together. It's just all that stuff combined. While it's a lot of work and a lot of time, it's memories that, kids will always have forever. And I love the fact that I've maybe had a chance to make some positive memories in kids' lives.
Oh, I mean, hundreds of kids, not only on baseball, but also interaction through school. Right. But you're to the point now where some of your earlier players are having kids and having families. I mean, look at Biggs and what he's been able to do. But is that I'm sure you get a lot of wedding invitations and baby announcements, but is that obviously fun for you to see?
It is really fun. It reminds me of how old I am getting. But Coach Compton, he was my old basketball coach, and I kind of idolize him. He still comes around to school. Yeah. He's still a very big part of Warren East High School, even though he doesn't teach there. And just seeing how these legends like Ken Skay and all these legends that have been at Warren East, it just kind of, I want to be a part of it. I don't want to be considered a legend. I don't want to be considered something great, but it just kind of gives me motivation. Yeah. Because he's always talked to me about how kids are going to call you. They're going to call you still and need things from you. And I look forward to those times. And it's really great seeing guys having great lives. We've had so many successful kids that have left, and they've been so successful with their lives. They've got great families. And that makes you proud, even though I may not have had any real part in that. It's still, it's great to see. I'm really proud for them, because you grow really close to kids in a 4 or 5, 6 year time period that you're with them.
Isn't that amazing? Because, I'm still very close with my head football coach, and I'm 42 years removed from playing, but it's a very impressionable time. Like you said, that 4 or 5 year period where they do create a bond with the head coach. And I mean, that's something that is just an amazing, it's an amazing thing.
Yeah. I mean, it's absolutely something that drives me, to want to continue to coach. I have a lot of hobbies. I love playing golf, like woodworking and stuff, but, baseball and these kids is kind of, I wouldn't replace it.
We've got about 90 seconds left, but in this segment, Warren East is really a special community. For those who've never gone to the high school, it's a beautiful high school, great facilities, the teachers, administration.
Absolutely.
You've got to be thrilled to be able to go to work there every day and be a part of that environment.
Yeah, I don't know what other schools are like, but I know the teachers that come into our school that have maybe been other places, and I'm not talking about in the county, but outside of our county, they just talk about how big of a family Warren East is, and they've just never seen a school that cares so much about each other. Yeah. And that's Warren East. That you have a winning program, you should see how many people come out. And they come out when you're not winning, but when you make a regional tournament or something like that, my gosh, you ought to see the people that come out. The community really supports us.
Well, there's a ton of pride for alumni from Warren East and people that like to associate themselves with the Raiders. When we come back, I want to talk to you about having some of the big names that you've had but also coaching through that, and talk about the team that you have this season, which have gotten off to a really good start, but we still have plenty of baseball season left. We're going to take a short break. When we come back, more with Coach Wes Sanford, the head baseball coach of Warren East, right here on WNKY NBC 40. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the show. Wes Sanford, the head baseball coach of Warren East, is my guest. Coming up on deck, Justin Stenson and Kelsey Kirkpatrick, the new head basketball coach at Glasgow High School, will be here. But Coach, let's talk a little bit more baseball. You have had an amazing tenure at Warren East. Mark Biggs, you had to go through the process of Major League Baseball being there, Hunter Green. You've had countless other great baseball players. It's not, you're just not it's just not normal to see all the success out of one school with all the big leagues coming in. Just kind of talk a little bit about that.
We've been very blessed, and you know, we've always been very successful as far as school athletically at Warren East. You know, we've really kind of hit a hard patch trying to keep up with Bowling Green Central in basketball, but baseball has always had really good athletes from as far as I can remember. And I was a middle 90s person, and you look back at the history, there's some really good players before. So Warren East has been really blessed with a lot of talented baseball players in our side of town. It's nothing that us coaching staff, I think we've said that before, it's nothing we've ever done to create that. You know, we've just been very blessed and fortunate to be here at Warren East at the right time.
But you also, as a coach, you have to know how to manage all that stuff. I mean, not many coaches have the opportunity to manage not one but two players that have gone on to Major League Baseball right out of high school. So I mean, you're working through that, but you're also managing 15, 16, and 17-year-olds through what they're going through. And coaching today isn't like it was years and years ago. You're doing a lot, but is that an enjoyable process for you, or is that something that, man, just your phone's blowing up all the time?
The process is fine. You know, for me, whenever we went through all the process, I was more concerned as I don't want to mess this up for this kid. You know, you don't want to overwork the kid, maybe hurt an arm. You don't want to, you know, making sure that, you know, all the other stuff, the kid's motivated, he's still pushing, which obviously if MLB scouts are there, the kid's motivated. They've got some good motivation, but just trying to keep myself out of the process and not get in the way and cause something to be a negative on that kid is really what I was trying to, you know, it's the stressful part for me. The experience itself was very enjoyable.
So baseball, interesting. You know, I think HSA started the season maybe a week earlier this year. I know that in February, if you have a decent day, you're out playing or practicing or doing something. What part of the game for you is it the preparation and the planning? Is it getting out there for the first time in the spring? Is it mid-season? Is it postseason, or is it all of it?
It's all of it. I don't know. I enjoy practices way more than I do games. The games are for the kids, and we remind the kids of that every day. You know, you're going to make mistakes, go play. But you know, at practice, that's our time. You're going to, you know, you buy into what we're trying to get you to do and really work and try to give us all you can for 2 hours or 2 hours and 15 minutes, whatever we practice. And that's the time I really enjoy. Obviously, you know, getting down in the nitty and gritty, you're starting to get really tight now. You know, we know the end's coming. We're halfway through our season.
Right.
You start getting a little more stressed. You know, obviously our first part of the year, you're like, hey, let's play, see what we got, see what we can learn. But now it's tough. You know, you're starting to really start getting nervous, and you want to try to fine-tune the things that you're doing wrong and try to keep the things that are going right, try to keep them on board, to keep them going, you know.
Well, you have the district. I mean, we've talked about the 14th district forever, and it's very, very difficult, very tough. And there's a lot of strategy that comes into play when you get into district play, and when you know, hopefully advance into the region. It becomes a real strategic game plan for a coach.
Absolutely. We've lost, you know, I think we've been beaten the first round of our district tournament just because we didn't throw our best guy. We've also, in regional tournaments, we maybe not thrown our best guy first. You try to plan. You just try to see what matchups work best, so you have confidence who can at least give you a chance to win. It's a lot more on the pitching as far as strategy goes than it is offense. Offensively, you just hope to put together good at-bats and score as many as you can.
Well, we're almost out of time. I cannot believe this. You had a great week last week. You took a couple from South Warren.
Right.
You have a very talented team this year. But I would be remiss by not mentioning your wonderful wife, who actually we wonder if she may not be the head coach. And I mean, she is just a fantastic supporter of you in this program.
Absolutely.
And it's always great to see her around town and at the Diamond, because she'll let us know what's going on.
She does. She's very patient with me. I really appreciate all the time that she allows me to have at the field, working on the field with the kids, practice. She doesn't get a lot of her own time, so she's very unselfish.
Coach, thank you very much. We're out of time. Good luck this
Thanks
season.
for having me.
More of the Sporting Times right here on WNKY NBC 40. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the Sporting Times. Now we're going to talk a little basketball. I'm going to introduce Justin Stenson, who coached at Glasgow High School for 10 seasons and now the new head coach of the Glasgow Lady Scotties, Kelsey Kirkpatrick. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having us.
Thanks for having us.
It is good to see you, Coach. And Coach, congratulations on your new hire.
Thank you.
We never got to say goodbye. I mean, it sounds like a country song, but your last season was when COVID hit in 2020. But in your 10 seasons, you never had a losing season. You had 7 of those 10. You had 20-plus wins. You had 2 4th Region championships. You were in 2 4th Region finals, I think, if my math is right. But what an introduction to the 4th Region you had when you started coaching. Lex Lindsay, Dwayne Murray, Craig Pippin out of Russell County, LaVonda Johnson out of Bowling Green.
Yep.
You were thrown into the fire, but...
And don't forget about guys like John Butler and
I had John Butler.
Brad Bonds. Those are right there in our district.
I got John Butler right at the top of my list. You're right. So you came into it, but what a great experience it had to be for you, and what a tenure you had as the Glasgow Lady Scotties head coach.
Yeah, we had a great run, and I still remember the games with a lot of those guys and coaching against them, and the competition, as always, in girls basketball been so tough in the 4th Region, and it was just, you had to bring your game every night, and unfortunately for us, we had a great group of kids over an extended period, and I was just so blessed to be a Scotty for the last 10 years.
It was really, truly an amazing time for girls high school basketball. And Kelsey, you got to experience it because you were a 2014 graduate of Monroe County High School, where arguably Monroe County fans, Glasgow fans, and I would say Allen County fans are amazing. I mean, they truly, and Barron County. But you were a part of that, and you were able to play against Coach Stenson during that time, and now you were just recently named the head coach. How much fun did you have, not playing against Glasgow, but playing in the 4th Region at that time?
4th Region, there was a lot of good teams, a lot of good girls in our 4th Region. There still is. I remember our district specifically. Someone was going home that could have made a good run at Region. And one year it was Allen County, Glasgow, Monroe, and then sometimes Barron was in the mix through my high school career. But there was a lot of good teams those years that I was in high school.
Do you remember those days, those games where you played against Coach Stenson, and we kind of joked about technicals, and he didn't get that many technicals, but he was pretty vocal on the sideline, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I enjoyed watching Coach Stenson coach.
So did
whenever
we.
I was a player, I still remember him, and I would go up after our games and be like, "Good job, coach." I did. I really enjoyed watching him coach the girls and watching them feed into him coaching. That was a big part of their play.
Which is a great learning tip from Coach Kirkpatrick, is that never burn bridges. Always congratulate the head coach, because you never know where you may end up. So, you also went on to Brescia, had a great career there. Now you're back, you're at Glasgow. We've interviewed so many coaches that used to play either at their alma mater or close to it. You knew all the girls, I think, that you played against when you played high school. What does it feel like now to be able to take over as a head coach?
I'm honored to take over at Glasgow. I'm very excited. I've been there the past 3 years, so I've made a lot of relationships just in the community as well as with the girls. Glasgow's a great place to be. I'm blessed to be there.
Well, when we come back from our break, Coach, I'm going to talk a little bit more about your career. Kelsey, I want to talk to you about the relatability that you've been able to have as a young coach. We've had many young coaches, and you can still get on the court now and show them a few things.
Maybe.
Yeah. Well, no, not maybe. I know you can. But when we come back, we're going to talk about that. More of the Sporting Times right here on WNKY NBC 40. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
You're watching the Sporting Times show on WNKY 40 NBC. And remember, like us on Facebook and follow ST on Twitter.
Welcome back to the show. Right next to me is Coach Justin Stenson. I'm still going to call you Coach, no matter what.
Please do.
He is the principal of the Glasgow Middle School currently. And Kelsey Kirkpatrick, who is the new head coach of the Glasgow Lady Skies, are my guests today. And I was kind of joking about getting out there and showing, being able to show the growth. And, you think about new coaches or the younger coaches that get out there that can still do it. Did you ever get out there and play like the sixth person?
I tried not to. I was too old.
Kelsey, and again, you've been around for 3 seasons, but the youthfulness, and you're not that far removed from when you played high school. 8 years, 9 years, not that far removed. Talk about relationships for you and how your philosophy of how the game should be played.
Well, being 8 years, give or take, from high school, I can reflect a lot of how they're feeling. They're stressed with school, stressed with work, stressed at home, and what I try to tell them is this is your 1 to 2 hours away from all stress. This is where you're coming into practice, you're forgetting everything, you're just playing basketball. I want them to feed off that in order to prepare themselves for what comes after high school. Right. We play basketball games, great, I love to win. But what I'm more prepared for is how they'll handle themselves when basketball is over. That's something that you don't really take in until it is there. I played for Coach Murray, and he prepared me without me knowing,
right.
Communication, teamwork, and that's something I want to instill in my girls.
Yeah, and we had Coach Sanford in before you were here, and Coach, you know how coaching has changed, even in your tenure, from the day that you started to the day that you stopped coaching. The dynamics of being a high school coach in any sport is really different. You're a psychologist, you do so much for student athletes today. Just kind of talk a little bit about maybe how it's changed, the paperwork that you have to do.
It has changed a lot, and that's why you don't see guys. I think about a guy like Sam Royce, who's been coaching Scotty baseball for half
years.
a century, forever. And you don't see guys do that anymore.
No.
But it's such a breath of fresh air to see people like Kelsey, who you know is going to be successful, who is in it for the right reasons. And I think our students and our communities need coaches like her that's going to stick around, that are in it to prepare kids for what comes next, because the ball is going to stop bouncing. And we used to talk to our kids a lot about you're going to go through rough times, and something's going to happen bad in your life, and a lot worse than coach yelling at you, a lot worse than a referee missing a call and things like that you've got to be equipped to handle. And having coaches like Kelsey who see that and are going to do that and going to be there for the next generation of kids is really awesome.
Yeah, so true. And Kelsey, when you look at your college experience, how much are you able to draw from that and apply to the high school student athlete? Is there a lot? Is there a little, or not much?
Oh no, there's a lot going into college. Whenever I played high school basketball, I knew I wanted to go play at the college level. I didn't know all the ins and outs of it. I didn't know it was going to be, you got to go to school, got to go to class,
Full-time
be on
job.
time. It is. It's a full-time job, and if girls want to play college ball, I'm all for it. If they don't, I'm all for it. But just that preparedness to get them from high school to where they want to go in their life. Yeah,
and also, the student athlete part of it is where coaches have to really reinforce, the books and the academic part of it.
Right.
Because there's a pretty high standard in order to be able to play. Even in high school, if your grades, which I know isn't an issue at Glasgow, I think when you were the coach, you had so many academic all-state kids. It was amazing.
Well, that's the one thing about our school system is we prepare kids. We've got a high academic standard. Glasgow High School sets the bar really high from an academic standpoint, and even athletes at those schools at the high school level have to balance that just like they do in college.
Well, Kelsey, congratulations again. I just want to mention to you that we do have some video of Coach when he was coaching out of the coach's box. Maybe a tee I can send to you if you need it.
Oh, was there a coach's box?
Yeah, that's right. Listen, there were a few coaches that came out. I thought you were the sixth player on that team, but congratulations again.
Thank you.
You are at a fantastic school, and we look forward to watching you, play, or not play, but coach. Coach, thank you very much for coming in today.
Thank you for having me.
Great seeing you again.
Thank you.
And everybody, thank you very much for spending a few minutes with us on your Saturday night. Join us next week, same time, same place. For Doug Thompson, have a fantastic week. Good night.